And what I found as the years have gone by is that the more complex you make it, the less likely people apply it. It's much harder to simplify something.
What if everything you thought about money is wrong? High income doesn't guarantee wealth, and small savings can build your future. Find out the surprising truths the wealthy don't tell you. Don't miss out on the secrets to financial success. High income myth. When Tom first started his career as a software developer, he believed that earning a large paycheck was the key to financial success. He dreamt of a luxurious lifestyle with flashy cars and fancy dinners. But things didn't go as planned. Despite earning a six-figure salary, Tom found himself living paycheck to paycheck. One day, he read about Elon Musk's approach to wealth building. It wasn't about having a high income. It was about managing money wisely. Musk, with his fortune, reinvests in his companies and diversifies his wealth. Inspired, Tom shifted focus. He learned about saving, investing, and growing wealth through smart decisions. Over time, he stopped spending excessively and started investing. His money grew exponentially. He realized that wealth isn't just about how much you earn, but how you manage and multiply it. Today, Tom is financially secure, living a comfortable life, but more importantly, he is debt-free. He now teaches others how to manage money, just like Warren Buffett does. Small savings matter. Sarah always thought that saving small amounts of money wasn't worth the effort. With her modest job as a teacher, she believed only big savings or investments could lead to financial success. One day, while reading about Oprah Winfrey's financial journey, she discovered a surprising truth. Oprah, despite her wealth, started with modest savings and steadily built her empire. Sarah then decided to start small, setting aside a portion of her salary each month. At first, it was only $50 a month, but over time, it grew. She opened a high-interest savings account, and the power of compound interest helped her savings multiply. Sarah also invested in stocks and mutual funds, as she learned from successful figures like Bill Gates. Years later, Sarah had built a significant nest egg. Her small savings habit had made a huge impact, and she realized wealth was built by consistent, small actions. Just like Oprah and Bill, Sarah now understands that every penny saved counts. Stock market truth. James had always been skeptical of the stock market. He believed it was far too risky for someone like him, with a modest income. He preferred keeping his savings in a traditional savings account where it felt safe. But then he came across an article about Mark Zuckerberg, who made his fortune through smart investments in the stock market, even when it seemed unpredictable. Curious, James decided to learn more. He realized that the stock market wasn't as risky as he thought if approached correctly. He started small, investing in low-cost index funds. Over time, his investments grew, just like those of successful investors like Ray Dalio. Years passed, and James saw his wealth steadily increase. He wasn't making huge profits overnight, but through patience and careful investing, his portfolio expanded. He learned that with the right strategy, the stock market can be a powerful tool for long-term wealth building. James, now financially secure, no longer feared the market, but instead used it to his advantage, just like the billionaires who had come before him. Good debt. Emily always thought that all debt was bad. She had grown up hearing warnings about how debt could ruin your financial future. When she bought her first home, she felt a little guilty taking out a mortgage, fearing she was making a mistake. But then, she read about Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, who explained that not all debt is bad. In fact, some forms of debt can actually help you build wealth. Inspired, Emily re-evaluated her mortgage. She realized that by investing in real estate, she could build equity over time, and the interest she paid on her loan was tax-deductible. She also learned that many successful people, like Elon Musk, used debt strategically to fund their ventures and increase their net worth. As Emily paid down her mortgage and invested in other properties, her financial situation improved. She came to understand that good debt, when used wisely, can be a powerful tool in building wealth. Emily's experience taught her that it's not the debt itself that matters, but how you manage it. Start early. Alex was in his early 30s when he first realized the importance of saving for retirement. For years, he had put off planning, thinking he had plenty of time. Then he read about Richard Branson, who started investing early and built his fortune from the ground up. Branson had always believed in starting as soon as possible, no matter how small the contributions. Alex decided to act. He set up a retirement fund and began contributing a small percentage of his income. At first, it wasn't much, but he knew it would grow over time. He learned about compound interest and how even small amounts invested early could yield significant returns in the future. By the time Alex reached his 40s, his retirement account had grown substantially, all thanks to his early start. He now encourages others to take the same approach. Just like Richard Branson, Alex learned that starting early, even with modest contributions, is key to long-term financial success. Small expenses. Rachel always focused on big purchases, thinking that saving money on things like vacations and dining out wouldn't make a big difference. But when she read about Jeff Bezos and his early days, she realized the opposite. Bezos, despite his massive success, was known for his frugality, carefully managing small expenses early on in Amazon's growth. Rachel decided to track her spending. She was surprised to see how small daily expenses, like buying coffee or eating out, added up over time. She started cooking more at home, brewing her own coffee, and cutting back on unnecessary subscriptions. In just a few months, Rachel was able to save hundreds of dollars. She then redirected that money into her investment account, seeing it grow with time. Rachel learned that wealth is often built by controlling small daily habits, just as Bezos had done in his journey. She realized that every dollar saved in the little things counts toward achieving long-term financial success. Inflation trap. David always kept his savings in a traditional savings account, believing it was the safest option. He thought that inflation wouldn't have much of an impact on his savings. But then, he read about Dave Ramsey, who often warned about how inflation could erode the purchasing power of money kept in low-interest accounts. David soon learned that while his savings were technically safe, they weren't growing at a pace that could keep up with inflation. As prices increased, the value of his money decreased. He realized he needed to find smarter ways to grow his wealth. He started diversifying his savings, investing in stocks and real estate. Like Warren Buffett, who has long advocated for the power of investing in appreciating assets, David saw his wealth grow over time. By investing, he was able to protect his savings from the effects of inflation, ensuring his financial future would remain secure. David now understands that keeping money in a savings account might seem safe, but it doesn't protect against inflation's silent erosion. Start small. Mia always believed that investing was only for the wealthy. She thought you needed a huge sum of money to get started. But after reading about Mark Cuban, who started investing with small amounts of money, Mia realized she was wrong. Cuban often emphasized that anyone, no matter their financial situation, could start investing with a modest amount. Mia decided to give it a try. She started by investing just $100 a month in low-cost index funds. To her surprise, her investments began to grow, and she saw returns that exceeded what she would have earned from a savings account. As the years passed, Mia gradually increased her contributions. Over time, her portfolio grew significantly. Much like Elon Musk's early investments in companies like Tesla, Mia now understands that you don't need a fortune to start investing. What matters is consistency and starting with what you can afford. Luck versus strategy. Tom always believed that financial success was a matter of luck. He thought people like Steve Jobs and Oprah Winfrey were just lucky to be in the right place at the right time. But then, he came across a podcast featuring Tony Robbins, where Robbins explained that success is more about making the right choices than luck. Tom began to realize that wealth is built through strategy and smart decisions, not random chance. Inspired by Robbins and the disciplined approach of successful people, Tom started reading about money management, investing, and budgeting. He learned that careful planning and taking calculated risks were key to financial growth. A few years later, Tom's financial situation improved drastically. He had paid off his debts and built a solid investment portfolio. Tom now understands that while luck can play a role, true financial success comes from smart decisions and long-term planning. Just like the wealthy figures he admired. Don't let your financial future slip away. Make sure you catch our next video. From side hustle to empire, scaling your income in the digital age. Hit subscribe now to unlock more game-changing tips.